So I'm excited to share 5 outfits that I am absolutely loving and cannot wait to wear for this spring. So I just wanted to communicate some of these updates, additions, and changes with you all. Why I started a second channel, the Vogue Breaker, and as well as that, the big change that is coming to my main channel here. So grab yourself a little snacky snack or a beverage and let's have a chat and look at some fun outfits. Probably my favorite because it's just a styling choice that I've been addicted to lately, even just in the winter months. And now it's just like a perfect layering transition into the spring. And that is doing sort of like the matchy match color cashmere look. So I've been on YouTube, or this channel specifically, for almost 8 years now. I do have to say a special thank you for all of you for being here and kind of being with me along this journey, because it has, you know, changed quite a bit over the years. It's definitely evolved, and I have definitely evolved in that 8 years, of course. Even in my hardest times, in my darkest of times, you know, especially in these last 3 years when I've been through the ringer with a few different life events, you know, this channel has definitely been there. You guys have been there to support me and pull me up and, you know, help me push through those times. So I'm very grateful for having this channel. I've produced over 500 videos for this channel. I've kind of said what I need to say. So I think it is sort of time for a change here on this channel. So with that load, let's look at my second favorite outfit. You got me good. And take a shot. You got me till I drop like I knew you would. Oh, you get what you give. I don't regret what I did. Well, if a real life liar can set you on fire. So first off, I think a lot of people are always like, well, why did you start a second channel? Why don't you just, you know, bring more videos, those videos onto your main channel? Because this second channel is so specific, the Vogue Breaker is so specific, that I wanted it to find its own audience as well. So I wanted it to be its own thing, because I knew it would have some crossover with this channel. I knew there would be a lot of people here on this channel interested in the Vogue Breaker, but I also knew there was going to be a totally new audience that it was going to pull in. And I wanted that audience to be able to find it properly. And by starting the second channel, it really trains that algorithm to help those people find that content. So I think a big question for a lot of people is sort of, why now? Like, why this concept in addition to what I'm doing here on this channel? And it's a fair question. But before we get into that, let's look at this third look. So this look is featuring my newest favorite anchor piece, which is my Louboutin flats, my Louboutin pointed toe ballet flats. You may have saw this if you saw my last video on the Vogue Breaker. They were a big feature on that. I actually found these thrifting in mint condition. So these are like never been worn outside. They still had like the little stickers on the bottom. I got these for a steal of a deal. This is probably one of my best finds for secondhand ever. I'm gonna roll on back on impossible tracks and get carried away. Oh, my shaking heart, you got me from the start. You got me good. You aimed and then you shot. You got me on the spot like I knew you would. Oh, my shaking heart, you got me from the start. You got me good. icebreaker was inspired by, I was watching this interview with Casey Neistat, and I've always sort of seen him as like a one-sided mentor. Like, he has obviously no idea that he's a mentor, but to me. But I saw this interview with him, and he was talking about like picking a lane and sticking with that lane, and or kind of making your own lane, but really like the power of like a niche concept. And he was talking about one of his favorite channels, which is this guy that has this like World War II, I think it was like a World War II channel on like specific weapons in World War II. And he was talking about how much he loved watching these videos because it was so specific. It was very interesting. It was just like an easy watch. And it became like an obsessive thought for a very long time of like, what is my World War II special weapons topic? Like, what is my special little unique niche? All of a sudden one day it sort of just clicked with me. I'm like, I love Vogue. My grandma bought me a subscription to Teen Vogue when I was like 12 because she knew I was into style and fashion, and I've been an avid reader ever since. And then the other little special thing was my career as a visual stylist. We had to use Vogue in a very specific way. Before we go any further, let's look at my fourth look that I'm absolutely loving to wear. Stylist, one of the companies that I worked for, they made sure I had a subscription to all of the fashion magazines. So not even just Vogue. It was like Elle, Bazaar, In Style, like all of them. And there would be one day a month that I would literally spend the whole entire day going through all of these magazines. They really just wanted me to be able to stay on top of the trends, the current trends, as well as being fashion forward, being aware of the trends that might be coming. They wanted me to be aware of this, so I knew how to kind of curate the collections of the store, the pieces to prioritize, and how I should be styling mannequin looks, and really just being able to make sure the way that I was curating the visual look of a store in a very current fashion forward way. And it ended up being like an amazing tool for me in my personal style, because then I started to take what I was seeing in these high fashion magazines as well as runway, and being able to translate it and tweak it into my own personal style in a very like casual, everyday, approachable way. And I found it to really elevate my style. Whenever I felt like I was sort of in a style rut, or if I was feeling uninspired, you know, if a new season was coming, that's what I would do. I'd look at my Vogue magazine and get inspired. Or always following Fashion Week. It's like my Super Bowl, or I guess it's a Super Bowl twice a year. But nobody was really sharing that. And I think that was sort of what I realized. I was like, this is my World War II special weapons. I just thought, yeah, I want to be able to share this with people. I want to be able for other people to gain from this exposure that I got from a very specific scenario that not a lot of people would have. But as well as that, I wanted it to be sort of like an escape. You don't have to go there to learn something. You can just go there to like be entertained. Because I think in this crazy time, that's what I need personally. I need an escape. I don't want more stuff that I have to think about that's gonna put weight on my brain. I want something that's gonna help me, you know, feel good and escape and put a smile on my face. So I think that was the other part of it, is I just wanted it to be simple and something that either people can find a lesson or learn something, or they can just come to be entertained. And that was really the driving, you know, initiative. So if you haven't seen it yet, I'll link it down below so you can go check it out and see if it's a nice escape for you. See if it's your World War II special weapons channel. Yeah, okay. I've learned a lot from all that I've done on this main channel, and I've learned a lot with building the second channel. And so it's just made me realize now that I can learn from those and make some improvements to this channel. Okay, so fifth and final favorite spring look. The anchor piece for this one is my Tibby sweatpants, which again, you might have seen in my most recent Vogue Breaker video.
Where the freaks go.
Ago, when I was trying to outline an episode, another like tutorial episode, and it was like my brain just turned off, and it was like, girl, you've said this before. You have said this multiple times. There's nothing more you can say on this. So it then brought me to this epiphany moment of like, I think it's time to let go of the tutorials. I think people have learned enough from what you've had to say. You've said what you need to say. You have proved yourself. Because I think that's part of it too. I just felt like I keep feeling like I have to prove myself, like prove my experience, prove my perspective, prove my value. And I think I'm done. I think now just going forward, what I really just want is similar to the Vogue Breaker. Is what I love about the Vogue Breaker is it's sort of never-ending content. This is me speaking to my perspective and my experience in a personal way that makes sense to me. And that's sort of what I want here. So although the tutorials are finished, I'm still here to talk about fashion and style because it is my number one passion. Always has been, always will be. That's not going to change. But what will change is it'll just now be a little bit more based off of my perspective. You know, whether it's things that aren't working for me, things that are working for me, or things that are truly inspiring me at that time. Speaking to things in real time and kind of leaving it open to not only style in fashion, but also in home styling, in sort of life styling of life and in our daily life, because there is so much that I think can be curated and styled to romanticize our lives. And I want to be able to speak to that kind of stuff, but just more in a storytelling sort of way. But it's not goodbye. It's just a new chapter. This style story isn't finished yet.